Before we start our tutorials, let me remind you guys, please see the description below. There's a link there which will help you in doing the setup that is required for the rest of the tutorials. If you already have the Java setup in your system, you don't have to repeat that. You can start learning. Happy learning. In the introduction video, you saw how to write print statements in Java along with how to install Java. I hope the setup is ready in your systems. Now, in this tutorial, I will tell you what is the significance of public, static, and void for the main method. Now, public is an access modifier, which means that I can run my Java program outside this environment. In any environment, I can execute it. That is the reason I'm making it as public. And why is it static? That is because when you execute Java program, for example, when I want to execute this, I will say Java demo. When I do that, I'm not creating any object for this class demo. Your JRE, that is Java Runtime Environment, it runs the class with the main method. For example, that means your main method is associated with the class name, not with the object. For that reason, it has to be static. In Java, you have some methods which can be made as static, which means that these methods are not associated with any objects, but they are associated with the class in which they are defined. So for the same reason, main method also gets executed along with the class name. Hence, static is required for main. Why it is void? Because when you make it as void, that method does not return any values. And what are the arguments that you're seeing here? String args. These are nothing but the arguments that you send while executing the program. For example, here I'm saying Java demo. Suppose I want to send some arguments here. I can do that. Then these values are stored as an array of strings and they are stored here. Now, can I give any name to it? Yes, I can make it ABC or XYZ, whatever you want. And instead of writing the square brackets here, I can also write it this way. What happens if I remove this public or static, or I swap public and static? I don't use void. Let us see all that now. Now, before that, let me execute this. So there's no problem with this program now. So I can say run as Java application. So it's working fine. Now, let me remove this. Just check what happens. So when I don't have public in my main method, can I execute it? Just check here. So it says error main method not found. That means this is not the version of main that is required for JRE to execute. Because if it is not public, then it is default. Then I cannot run it in other environments. So public is required. What happens when I make it as static? Again, it says main method is not static and it cannot execute it because this is a different version of main. But is there any problem in the compilation? No. Whether I have static or not, or whether I have public or not, my program is going to compile because for compilation, you don't require main. Main is required for execution. All right. And again, can I change the data type to int or float and write a return statement? You can write, but again, for the same reason, This program will compile, but it will not execute because this becomes another version of main, and this is not the same main that JR is looking to execute.